Redskins, Raiders. When two championship teams tangle, anything can happen.
Looking Washington. Goes outside, attempts the screen. Picked off.
This is Joe Howard at the 1. He's got a hold. Howard across the 30. It's a foot race. So long. Howard will score. 99 yards for Joe Howard.
Redskins, Raiders. Quality organization that consists of people with vision and creativity. Tonight, the Raiders trying to bring their past back to the present. Face the tradition of the Redskins, whose future is now. The Los Angeles Coliseum, next stop on a Redskin preseason that is running the Super Bowl champs ragged. 5 days ago, they were in London. Now it's L.A. and still trying to put together their first win of the exhibition season. And good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our coverage of Washington Redskins Super Bowl champion football. I'm Steve Buckhantz. One more chance for this team to pick up a victory, and then they'll play the Vikings next week at RFK. And in the process here this afternoon, a chance to answer some very serious questions. Questions about the offensive line, questions about which running backs will make this team, questions about the holdouts and when they will be reporting, and they are still unsigned. And certainly the team has to be concerned because in 2 weeks, just 2 weeks from Monday night, they do it for real in Dallas against the Dallas Cowboys in what will be one of the most difficult games of the season for the Washington Redskins. For more on that, we welcome back to the broadcast booth an old friend and a veteran sportscaster, Dick Stockton. Dick?
Well, thank you, Buck, and it's good to be with you for this game, and it's good to be with John Riggins and Bobby Mitchell, and barring a tie, someone is going to get their first win of preseason. Now, the Redskins have lost all their games by a total of 4 points, and Bobby Mitchell, I'm sure that the record is not the chief concern. What is for the Redskins thus far?
Well, you know, Dick, all of the 80s, one thing that we pride ourselves in is the fact that we had depth. And that was the reason why we could do so many things. This is the first time I can remember in a long time that we don't have the people, particularly at the offensive line. When you consider that Mark Addix is out with a back, Elwanibi at a shoulder, Lachey isn't here. There's a lot of problems there on this offensive line. And Gibbs, of course, has tried to be very careful and cool about this, but he is really concerned because, as you know, so go the running game with the Washington Redskins, so go our football, in spite of the posse.
And, of course, the protection affects the quarterback, Mark Rippon, who threw 7 passes in his debut in London last week. What can we expect from Rip today?
Well, I'll tell you what, Dick, I think what Mark has to do today is finally get back into his groove. Now, he didn't have a full week of practice last week when they went to London, and making a trip across the ocean and trying to set up and play in a foreign city like that, I think is difficult enough. But he's coming in. He has a tremendous contract under his belt. All of his teammates are looking up to him, and they're waiting for his leadership to unfold out on the field. And I think so far that hasn't happened. I think as an athlete, he needs to get his confidence where it has to be, and he has to come out today, I think. It's not critical, but he doesn't want to wait till next week and have to play the Minnesota Vikings the week before the opener down in Dallas and have a great game. So I think it would befit him to put his best foot forward today and try to get that fit going with his receivers.
So other than a victory for the Redskins, other questions to be answered today. And we'll be back with the opening kickoff in just a moment.
Today's Redskins versus the Raiders preseason game is brought to you in part by your Hyundai dealer, offering a full line of quality automobiles at affordable prices. By Roy Rogers. No one does chicken like Roy. By the Virginia Lottery. What's the score on Virginia's Lotto? Tonight's estimated Lotto jackpot is $2 million. And by Safeway. Nobody does it better for less.
Back here at the Los Angeles Coliseum, the Redskins preseason football, game number 4 between the Redskins and the Raiders. The Redskins still have 1 game left, that against the Vikings at RFK Stadium. And the Raiders also 1 game left. And Joe Gibbs, as Bobby mentioned, looking for some depth and a good second half play. And I have a hunch that the Redskins would like to turn this into the W column, not obsessively so, but I think they want to get on the right track.
Well, one of the things you got to do, Dick, is I tell you what you can look for. As much as Joe needs to get off and get his guys playing ready for the season for Dallas, you're going to still see basic football today because he has no choice. We were talking about that. He has got to find out where the athleticism is out there today. Guys running all over the place, as John mentioned earlier. So I think in that sense, you're going to see basic football and hope for the win.
The Raiders have won the toss, and they'll receive, and Chip Lohmiller will kick off for the Redskins. Stephon Adams and Terrence Flagler, the former 49er, there's Adams, are deep. And both sides are very pleased that this game is being played in humidity and heat on an afternoon. It'll get the players in condition more, which is something they need after the cool days at Dickinson College. And the opening kickoff is received by Flagler. And Flagler brings it out to the 30-yard line, and a fumble on the play, but it's blown dead just short of the 30. And so the Los Angeles Raiders, who got as far as the AFC wild card game last year, losing to Kansas City 9-7, get set to go. And their starting lineup, familiar name, Jay Schrader, will begin at quarterback. We'll see Todd Marinovich as well today. Steve Smith and Nick Bell. The running back spot, Willie Gauld and Mervyn Fernandez at wide receiver, and the offensive line, and it's a big one indeed. And Eric Dickerson moves into the starting lineup along with Derek Gainer to start things off. And here is Eric Dickerson, who has played sparingly thus far, and he gets a good gain on the first play of the game. A pickup of 8 yards, and Brad Edwards from the free safety position making the tackle. Taking a look at the Redskins defensive alignment, Mann, Wilson, Tim Johnson, and Fred Stokes are up front. Marshall, Govea, and Collins at linebacker. Raven Caldwell with a sprained knee in London, unable to play. Mayhew, A.J. Johnson at the corners. Copeland and Edwards are the safeties. 2nd down and 2 on the 37-yard line, and this time it's Dickerson again, and he is stopped for no gain by Bobby Wilson, and a fumble on the play, whistle blown dead again. So Bobby Wilson, who has now moved into Eric Williams' position, makes the tackle, and that'll bring up 3rd and short.
Well, I think this is what we saw in the papers out here about the Raiders. They want to get their running game going, so I think that that's what they'll try to establish early in the game, Dick. I think that they're going to find the going a little tough, though, because last week watching the Redskin defensive line, they were really coming off the ball quite well. And, in fact, Larry Pacatello, I was talking to him before the game, and the 49ers remarked on how good the Redskins were coming off the ball.
Raiders have averaged less than 2 yards a carry in their first 2 preseason games. So it'll be 3rd and short. Schrader looking to throw, and his pass is caught by Tim Brown. He should have enough for a 1st down beyond the 40-yard line, and Danny Copeland making the tackle for the Redskins.
Here we got just a little crossing pattern over the middle, and he didn't have that far to go for a 1st down, so it was an effective play. Brad Edwards wrapped him up.
Tim Brown, 3rd in receiving last year for the Raiders, and it'll be a 1st and 10 on the 40-yard line, 41-yard line for the Raiders. Movement in the line, and here is Dickerson off left tackle, and Eric Dickerson picks up at least 5 yards. A.J. Johnson making the tackle. So with the exception of one play, the Redskins secondary has been involved on most of the tackles in this early going.
The Raiders look like they're really using a variation of the Redskins one-back offense there. What they're doing is they're putting their running back in the backfield with Dickerson, and they're just running him off tackle, which is really, over the years, has been the Redskins' bread and butter play. And they're making a few yards there.
That'll bring up 2nd down and 5 for the Raiders on their own 46-yard line. First series of the game. And the pitch is to Dickerson. And Eric Dickerson will have another 1st down for the L.A. Raiders. And the fans who used to adore him, those who were Ram fans, Eric Dickerson picks up 8 yards and another 1st down, and it was Kurt Govea and A.J. Johnson again.
This is just a sweep out around the left end. They pitch the ball to Dickerson, and he picks his way through. There's some nice block there on Andre Collins. I couldn't see who blocked him from the Raiders, but he kicked Collins out and opened up the seam for Dickerson on the inside.
So the Raiders are establishing what they have sorely needed thus far in preseason. marching the ball on the ground. It'll be a first down on the 47-yard line of the Redskins. Derek Gaynor is the lone back, but Schrader is going to throw. And this pass is caught by Willie Gault and defended by A.J. Johnson for a short gain further into Redskin territory.
Well, you know, the Raiders would really like to see Jay Schrader get off real good on passing because they haven't been totally pleased with him. I think you see he just stepped back and popped it out. And he's got to do those kinds of things because he has the strong arm. He can do that.
The Redskin defense has been nearly impenetrable for the first half this season with shutouts in the last 2 games. Going into halftime. The Raiders are moving. It'll be second down and about 6. They show blitz. And the pass is caught by Fernandez. I did not see a penalty marker down. And Mervin Fernandez has the first down of the 34-yard line. Martin Mayhew defending it was Wilbur Marshall.
That almost looked like that there was contact made. I thought that Kurt Gouvet actually came across and touched the center on the helmet, but the Redskins slowed down there, and this can be very dangerous sometimes. It's great that Martin Mayhew stays with his man because he could have very easily let him go for a touchdown.
And there you saw Wilbur Marshall making sure that Fernandez stayed down. So an 8-yard gain and another first down for the Raiders, their 3rd in this opening series. They're on the Redskin 44 in the opening minutes with 9:48 to go in the first quarter. And the Redskins then showing blitz up the middle. A quick pass to Fernandez. He gets to the 30-yard line where Mayhew is right there. But the Raiders are smartly moving the ball with a combination of short passes and runs, and they're pick up about 4 yards.
Well, what you have going on, Dick, here is they're using coverage control routes, and what they're basically trying to do is wait and see if those defensive backs are going to come up there tight, because we're getting a lot of blitzes from the Redskins right now.
There's been a lot of news here in Los Angeles about who should be the quarterback. Jay Schrader, who is not spectacular but steady, and Todd Marinovich, who a lot of people think, though he may be a flake, could have more flair. Here is Dickerson on the carry, and Eric Dickerson driving toward the sticks is short by about 3 yards. But a good first series for the veteran Eric Dickerson. Brad Edwards making the tackle, and that will bring up 3rd and short.
This is the same play that they ran earlier where Dickerson got about 8 yards on it, but the defense really strings this play out. It's a good job of the Redskins. You got Gouvet. He's got around his man, but you can see that Dickerson still has that foot speed, and he's able to turn the corner, but he doesn't get enough yardage.
Well, John, I think that this guy probably going to get another 1,000 this year.
Well, I think that's exactly what the Raiders have been needing. Of course, Marcus Allen, you can't ever count him out, but he's been nicked here and there.
Dickerson has gained 23 yards on 5 carries. Excuse me, John.
No problem. But, yeah, he really is looking sharp, and he hadn't done that so far in preseason.
On 3rd and 4, Schrader's pass is caught, and a great pass. He held onto it, and that was Fernandez again. Martin Mayhew on the tackle, and a circus catch by Mervin Fernandez, and the Raiders are in business inside the Redskin 15-yard line, and a gain of 15.
Well, you can notice here, Dick, what they're doing now is they begin to extend the defense a little bit now. They started out with the quick pop passes. They're taking them now about 10 to 12 yards. So that's making Jay Schrader get it downfield.
This is just about, I'll tell you what, can't remember the last drive against the Redskin defense that's been this effective. I mean, you got to go all the way back to last year, and I don't even remember what game it would be. It never really happened in any of the playoffs. You'd be talking about the regular season, because this is the first drive the defense really given up this year.
There is Dickerson on first down from the 13-yard line. He tries to go wide. He's hemmed in, but the Redskins in the group were there, led by Wilbur Marshall, and Tim Johnson also there for the stop. On that previous play, on the 15-yard pass play, the Redskins had brought in Jumpy Geathers, their pass rushing specialist, along with Monty Colvin and Alvoid Mays. But Schrader got the first down, and now we will have a second down. And I think it'll be about no gain, maybe a loss of a half a yard.
Of course, Eric Williams is out, and he's going to be out probably for 10 weeks or so. But the Redskins are very happy with the progress of Bobby Williams.
This drive started at the Raiders' 29-yard line. This is the 12th play of this drive. Winding down to 7 minutes to go in the first quarter. Great ball control by the Raiders. Schrader has time. His pass is intercepted at the goal line. And it's Danny Copeland. And a great return by Danny Copeland into Raider territory, and finally tackled at the 42-yard line of Los Angeles. A big return 57-yard return by Copeland at the goal line.
Well, this is one of the things that's been a problem for Jay Schrader. He lost his touch for his deep pass, which was his used to be his forte. So that ball got up a little high, and it cost him an interception down there. A great return by Copeland.
And Ethan Horton, the big tight end, was the intended receiver by the Raiders. And a big defensive play by Danny Copeland, a 57-yard interception after Jay Schrader had moved the Raiders.
Well, here you see they were in a two deep, and that's what you want to be in. Jay got the ball up high. Danny Copeland got it down there and made a tremendous return.
So the Redskins have the ball at the Raider 42 following the interception for their first possession with 6:44 remaining, as Ernest Biner gets the first carry and picks up about 5 yards. Eddie Anderson, the free safety, making the tackle for the Raiders. So Mark Rippon, who threw 7 passes in his debut after the holdout last week in London against the 49ers, will lead the charge for the Redskins and should play the entire half. Biner, and then the posse, Clark, Monk, Terry Orr is in there. Jacoby, Schlereth, Bostic, Brown, McKenzie, and Don Warren. A lot of shuffling by the Redskins offensive line because of Jim Lachey's absence. And a loss on the play. Howie Long came storming in to stop Biner. Big play by the veteran in his 12th year, and a loss back to the original line of scrimmage to the 42-yard line. Let's check out the Raiders defensively. Long, who made that big play with Golick, Anthony Smith, and Andre Bruce. Bruce has made an impact since being picked up from Atlanta. Wallace, Ellison, and Benson are the linebackers. Terry McDaniel and Lionel Washington the corners, and Ronnie Lott and Eddie Anderson, who made that previous play, the safeties. It'll be 3rd down and 10. Now Art Monk goes in motion to the right. Rippon has some time, and he has a wide open receiver, but unable to hold on is Gary Clark. He was open at the 15-yard line, but Clark couldn't hold on to that high pass. He was covered by Lionel Washington and Eddie Anderson, and that will bring up 4th down, and the Redskins will punt.
This is a great pass route by Gary. I think the Raiders are in a zone defense. He takes it out there. Mark got the ball right on the money, really. He's got to turn around a little bit for this ball, but I'd say that's a pretty good sign. I think the Rip is slowly closing that gap on the excellence that he demonstrated last year.
Kelly Goodburn will kick. There's Tim Brown, who's deep for the Raiders. And a good high kick and a fair catch called for by Brown, and the Redskins are going to down it at the 1-yard line.
Now there was a big league play.
Johnny Thomas.
He was in the end zone. He jumped back out just in time to down the ball. That was a beautiful special teams play right there.
A 41-yard kick, and Johnny Thomas looking for a roll on this club. Wayne, you couldn't ask for more on the coverage. Wayne Sevier, who's mic'd down on the sideline.
No, we had our pooch punt, which means we're trying to land that between the goal line and the 10 and both hashes. We cover that way, and we got a great punt, and then Johnny Thomas did a heck of a job getting his feet back in the field of play and getting that thing down for us.
So the Raiders, who reached the Redskin 12 on their first possession, start from their own 1-yard line this time, and there's movement in the line. Let's see if the Redskins were drawn off by the Raiders. Redskins had the ball for less than 2 minutes, and the Raiders for 8 minutes and 16 seconds, but there's no score, and the Raiders have their backs to the wall with 5:01 remaining in the first quarter.
By the way, my apologies to Bobby Wilson, not Bobby Wilson.
Encroachment on the defense, 5-yard penalty. It remains 1st down.
It'll still be 1st down, but a 5-yard penalty against the Redskins, and that is a costly penalty when you have the other team hemmed in on the 1.
Yeah, that's something you don't really want to have happen. Unfortunately, that the Redskins are just still a little anxious there on the defensive line and are probably thinking of that safety that they got against the 49ers last week.
Bobby Wilson was the guilty party. By the way, the referee today is Ed Hockley. So the ball is on the 6-yard line, 1st and 5 out of the I formation. Eric Dickerson off the left side trying to hold on to the ball. Redskins trying to strip it away, but Dickerson who is very impressive. Starting this game for the Raiders, picks up a first down. Alvin Walton making the tackle. And a gain on the play of 8 yards.
This is something a year ago that everybody was concerned about in preseason, was the teams that were running the ball in the Redskins. And right now, this is as good as anybody has done with them on the ground. There's a nice crease in there. They just pushed everybody out of the way. And Tim Johnson was taken back inside. And
so it'll be a first down on the 15. No score. Ethan Horton, the tight end, in motion. They give it to Dickerson. He is met hard by Tim Johnson, the right tackle. But I'll tell you one thing. Dickerson has shown terrific acceleration. He was kind of a rebel, worn out his welcome at Indianapolis, but the guy has won in the past and has been a big-time running back.
Well, here's a guy who at Indianapolis lost a little of his luster, but this is the place for him. They're going to turn him loose. He needs the ball 30 times a game, and they'll give it to him. He has that great explosion. You can see he's popping through that line. This is a case where the line just happened to neutralize there and get in the middle and stop.
this is Al Davis' home for wayward boys.
And he is the latest in that home. Always room for people like Eric Dickerson, who gets the call again. And Dickerson dives forward after trying to go wide to the left. Charles Mann making the tackle. It was a 2nd down and 8 situation, so that'll bring up 3rd and short, a gain of 6. So far, Dickerson has gained 39 yards and 9 carries.
This is really a great run by Dickerson. He's taking the ball outside as far as he can, but Andre Collins comes off his block, forces him back inside. He finds a crease, and what would have been for the average guy probably about a 4-yard loss, Eric Dickerson turns into about a 5-yard gain. Great move right there, and he cuts it back up inside. Everybody, the Redskins, are kind of overrunning the play.
Alboyd Mays has come in as a nickel back. Jumpy Geathers is a pass rushing defensive lineman on 3rd down and 2. Jim Brown goes in motion for the Raiders. And the handoff is to Dickerson. He's going to get the 1st down, but barely, as the Redskins closed in a hurry. Martin Mayhew came in from the secondary. It looked like it might be a big gainer for Dickerson, but he has enough for the 1st down to the 27-yard line.
Yeah, they get it sealed off here pretty good, and I kind of anticipated actually some kind of a running play, 3rd and long, too. He's got this all out to himself out here, but yeah, it is. Martin Mayhew really comes in there making. I thought it was Brad Edwards, but actually it's Mayhew who does a great job of reading this play. And right there, takes his feet out from underneath him.
Clock is running, 2:15 to go in the 1st quarter. Dickerson was already rushed 10 times. Derek Gainer is the lone running back. 3 wide receivers on 1st down. Short drop, and Schrader's pass is picked off by Martin Mayhew, and he'll go in untouched for the touchdown, and the Redskins lead. That's the 2nd bad mistake by Jay Schrader. 2nd interception by the Redskins, and Mayhew runs it in 33 yards. And it's the Redskins up 6-0.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. You can't be sure who made the mistake. The receiver went into a short slant pattern, and Jay kept it out like a hitch. So you would think the quarterback would be the guy who knows what's going on there. It'd be interesting to see who made the mistake.
So Chip Lohmiller will add the 7th point if he can, and Jay Schrader, after 2 interceptions, Lohmiller's kick is good. Jeff Rutledge was the holder, and the Redskins, with 1:55 remaining in the 1st quarter, have taken a 7-0 lead over the Raiders, thanks to Martin Mayhew's touchdown on the interception. Back here at the Coliseum in Los Angeles, Dick Stockton, John Riggins, and Bobby Mitchell. The Redskins lead at 7-0, and Chip Lohmiller getting set to kick off. Stephon Adams and Terrence Flagler are back deep for the Raiders. And the kick is headed for Flagler, but he's into the end zone. It'll be down there for a touchback, and so the Raiders will begin their 3rd possession of the game from their 20-yard line.
Well, again, what we see here is Jay came off of that so quick. And the reason why I think it was the receiver's fault is that Jay took his 3 steps to immediately turn that ball loose like you would do on a hitch pattern, which is very quick.
Schrader is 5 for 7 for 36 yards, but both of his incompletions have been interceptions, and 1 run in for a score. we told you that the Raiders have gained 80 yards and the Redskins nothing, you'd wonder what the score would be, but it's 7-0 in favor of Washington. And a first down on the 20-yard line. 3 wide outs. 2 to the top of your picture. Schrader. And another interception, and this one is going to be run in as well. And it's Mayhew again. I don't remember the last time a team has had the same man running an interception in such a short amount of time, actually. Successive plays, because there's still 150 remaining when they play started here. Amazing.
Well, I feel very honored being a part of Jay Schrader's nightmare. Great to be here, Jay.
John, don't you think the way Schrader's throwing here is that he is just showing everything to that defensive back. He's showing it so quickly.
Absolutely. He's now got the defense dictating to him, and he's pressing. The other thing, Bob, I think he could have set up. He saw the receiver out there on the side, and he had to see Mayhew out there, and yet he forced the ball. And that's exactly what happened.
And the fact that he was rolling towards the receiver, he had time to pull that ball down and come again with it.
Well, you took him off the hook on the last interception, Bobby, but, you know, all I know is that right now Jay Schrader has thrown 3 INTs, and 2 of them in a row have been run in for touchdowns.
Well, you can tell right here he is rolling to the receiver, and because of that, he is in a position to pull that ball down, but he turned it loose.
You got to give Mayhew credit on this, too, because he's reading the receiver on that. The receiver stops, plants, turns around, starts looking for the ball, and Mayhew's making his break right away. He times it up beautifully, I think, and I think right now he's got the first interception. He steps in here, and it's for him. I mean, he's in a rhythm right now. He's thinking ahead of Jay Schrader about a half a second.
The pass was intended for Mervin Fernandez. Successive interceptions by Mayhew, and it is now a 14-0 game, and that's only going to fuel the fans. How many are out here today in the vast Coliseum to urge Art Shell to go to Todd Marinovich?
Yeah, you would think probably this next series they may. Because Schrader right now, I mean, he's got to settle down. I know he's played the game long enough that this shouldn't be upsetting him, but I think it is. I think that first interception kind of got his adrenaline boiling a little, and now he comes out there and he forces the ball and gets the second one.
Well, there's the young guy. There's the young guy there. He's a big one, and he's had an up-and-down situation himself. He's had 1 good win, 1 poor loss, and they're waiting on this young man.
Miller again kicking off. He's going to get tired soon. Well, he's too big to get tired. And it's Stephon Adams returning the kick, and he is tackled from behind just short of the 25-yard line. So Schrader's last 3 passes have been intercepted, and this was Brian Mitchell who made the tackle for the Redskins, and the crowd boos Schrader as he comes out again.
Yeah, but you got to go with him. You got to let him go back in there and let him settle down and throw the ball. This is a veteran. He's been around, what, 9 years, John?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to let him play.
It's preseason. Why crush the guy by taking him out? Yeah. 1 minute and 34 seconds remain in the first quarter. 14-0, the Redskins lead. They have still not gained any yardage offensively. Eric Dickerson, not a smooth handoff, but Dickerson gains about 4 yards nonetheless. And the tackle, Bobby Wilson, with help from George Hinkle. Now, what the Redskins are going to look to do, they're looking for versatility on the defensive line. That means Jason Buck and George Hinkle will see a lot of action today at both end and tackle. They're also going to see, of course, Shane Collins as well, the rookie, but they're looking for versatility as backup.
You know, it's really funny, Dick. I think that this is the first time in a long time that I can remember where the exact opposites are true. I think the Redskins are quite deep in the defensive line, and they're so shallow in the offensive line. It's always been the other way around.
2nd down and 7, the pitch to Dickerson. Dives forward, got something out of very little there, and that will bring up 3rd and short for the Raiders as they bring it out to the 32-yard line, and Johnny Thomas made the tackle on Dickerson in that play.
You know something else, Dick, that's very important right now? They're getting ready to run this play, of course. Look, pitch out to Dickerson. But an interesting thing right now is Mike White, who is the coordinator for the quarterback, I mean the passing game. You can pitch him on the sideline with Art Shell telling him, we got to go with this guy. We got to stick with him. That's my guy.
He should be. He needs him for the season. Final seconds being ticked off in this first quarter. 3rd down and 3. Schrader to put it in the air again, and the pass is caught, and it'll be a first down to the 40. Tim Brown has a first down as time will run out, and a derisive cheer from the fans here at the Coliseum A.J. Johnson makes the tackle for the Redskins. So that is the end of the first quarter here at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. The Redskins lead the Raiders 14-0.
Today's Redskins versus Raiders preseason game is brought to you in part by your Washington area Ford dealers, by Chase Manhattan Credit Card, and by McDonald's. What you want is what you get at McDonald's.
And welcome back to the Coliseum. Start of the second quarter with the Redskins leading 14-0. And the Raiders have the ball 1st and 10 on their own 40-yard line. And the draw play to Eric Dickerson, the workhorse in the first quarter. Dickerson goes a right around end and picks up 5 yards on the play. Johnny Thomas from the secondary making the stop for the Redskins.
Well, on that play, he kind of looked like Riggo. Starting up and then popping outside.
Nobody looked like Riggo.
That's to their credit.
58
Nobody
yards.
wanted to look like Riggo.
Not true. 58 yards for Eric Dickerson in 13 carries thus far. Time of possession. Raiders, they've had the ball the whole quarter. 22 plays to only 3 for the Redskins. Yet the scoreboard says it 14-0 Washington. There's a fake pitch on 2nd and 5, and the pass thrown deep. Caught. Is that Willie Gault? It is, and a first down into Redskin territory. Danny Copeland makes the hit on a fine catch after a 23-yard pickup by Willie Gault.
Well, that shows you what the running game will do for you, I think, guys. This is this pitch. If it's a play action, you don't see that right away. But Schrader fakes the pitch to Dickerson, and it catches the Redskins, I think, a little flat-footed. Gault finds a huge seam inside there, and they're in a zone defense, and it's just pitch and catch there from Schrader.
Nate Hill has come in the game, replacing Bobby Wilson at the left tackle position. It is a first down on the 32-yard line of the Redskins. Raiders with the first big play for them offensively, and Eric Dickerson slices off right tackle. He may have another first down. And a couple of players are going at it. Not wise to take your helmet off, is it, John Riggins?
No, and I don't know how that happened. And that was kind of an unusual happenstance there. I think it was the offensive tackle from the Raiders was going it with Martin Mayhew. A little bit of a mismatch.
Steve Wisniewski, number 76, had his helmet off.
Another nice run by Eric Dickerson. He takes it, starts it up inside. He doesn't see anything right there. It's not quite clear enough, and he sees that crease outside. He's got great eyes, actually, and he's got the great feet to get to where he wants to be.
2nd down and 1. And here is Derek Gaynor. And he may have the first down. Hole certainly didn't open up for him in a big way. And it is a first down for the Raiders. Jason Buck and Charles Mann in on the stop for the Redskins, who have lost 3 preseason games by a total of 4 points.
I think it's kind of strange, actually, how a game can unfold as we're seeing this one, where the Raiders have had the ball the whole first quarter. If the Redskins don't get the ball a little bit in the second quarter, it's going to change what they want to do in the second half. They're going to have to play the regulars a little longer than they normally would, which means guys that are trying to make the team won't get a chance to play.
Sure.
Okay to have your defense play like they played thus far, but you want to have your offensive people have some chances. Eric Dickerson, for a couple, it looks like the Redskins have tightened up their run defense here, at least on the basis of the last 2 plays, and that will bring up 3rd and long.
But, you know, if you're the Raiders, if you're Art Shell standing over there, you also realize that nothing has really happened to your offense. Your offense has played very, very well. Just a couple of miscues by the quarterback.
Yeah, I'm sure that Art Shell's fairly happy with what they are doing offensively, because they've got probably 70 yards on rushing right now, something they wanted to do in the beginning of the game.
First downs, Raiders 9, Redskins nothing. It'll be 2nd down and 7. An audible called at the line of scrimmage by Schrader. And we give it to Dickerson. Look at that acceleration by Eric Dickerson. He gets inside the 10, and another Raider first down. Alvin Walton and Danny Copeland in on the tackle. Bit of deception there by Dickerson.
Well, you know, we've been talking about Gibbs being worried about the depth. You see, you got a different group of people in there, and all of a sudden they make the wrong moves on defense. They slide the wrong way. Dickerson bursts through.
Eric Dickerson leaves the game. He picked up 10 yards on that play. It'll be short yardage coming up soon. Here it is again.
Yeah, Alvin Walton let Eric Dickerson know that he's out there playing defense. It's a nice hit there right at the end of that run. But Dickerson's got that little bit of stutter sometimes when he doesn't see what he wants, and it buys him enough time for something to open up and for him to squirt through the opening.
The Raiders are going to call a timeout here as Nick Bell enters the game. He's that 250-pound fullback who can pound the line, as Dickerson comes out after gaining 79 yards. And we'll be back to the Coliseum in a moment. 14-0. Eric Dickerson left the game. He took a hit, I believe, as well after gaining 79 yards.
Yeah, Alvin Walton, as I was saying earlier, he let him know he was out there. He comes in and tries to stop him, and now Eric Dickerson isn't feeling real well. Actually, I got a little nauseous after looking at that.
Well, you've softened up considerably.
Yes, I have. My old age did.
Nick Bell in the backfield. First and goal at the 7-yard line for the Raiders, who trail the Redskins 14-0. And here is Bell, tough to bring down, and Bell is in for the touchdown. That's how tough he is to bring down.
That was really a nice run by Bell.
Well, Nick Bell and McCollum has been running real well for them this summer. And you're talking about 230 and 250 pounds respectively. And when they come in there, they're real low. This way, he just ripped right through two defensive guys' grips.
Kurt Gouveia, he makes a charge in there. He gets there too late, but he actually gets caught up in the middle of that. And then Bell sees the seam outside and bounces. And then just a great extra effort there, making that leap to get the ball into the end zone.
He had 3 touchdowns last year, and that led the Raiders, Nick Bell, and he scores here. Jeff Jager with Gossett, the punter, holding, as the Raiders finally get on the board with 10:20 remaining in the first half. The kick by Jager is good, and they have cut the Redskin lead in half to 14-7, thanks mostly to Eric Dickerson and his 79 yards rushing. But it was Bell who scored. The word on Eric Dickerson is that he suffered bruised ribs on that last hit by Walton, gained 79 yards, and he's showing Nick Bell exactly where he is hurting. So Dickerson out of the game right now. Jay Schrader's got to breathe a little easy that the Raiders finally got on the board, and now the Redskins will get the ball, something they haven't had much of. Jeff Jager kicking off. Brian Mitchell and rookie Robert Green are deep. And it comes down to Mitchell. Brian Mitchell with the return to the 40, 45. Penalty marker is down, however, as Mitchell will go into the end zone for a touchdown pending the penalty at about the 40-yard line of the Raiders. So let's wait.
Maybe it's offside on the Raiders.
It could be.
On the kickoff, it looked as though the lineman on this left side stepped on the line before.
Offsides, and the kicking team, number 43. The penalty is declined. Touchdown.
97-yard touchdown by Brian Mitchell on the kickoff. And the Redskins, in an unusual, spectacular game, now lead 20-7.
Actually, you can see this seam, although we don't have a wide enough angle here on the camera. But there's a tremendous seam that opens up there, and Mitchell sees it. He scoots between two Raiders, and after that, it's just a foot race that Brian Mitchell wins.
Chip Lohmiller will try the extra point, and that may be great for the Redskins with a lead of 21-7 if Lohmiller makes the kick. But the Redskins still have not been able to have the ball offensively. In about 20 minutes of action so far, the Redskins have yet to get the ball for a second time in the game. They have run only 3 plays, amazingly enough. They need the ball. 21-7, the Redskins lead. They still have had the ball for only 3 plays from scrimmage, and they won't get it for a while now as Chip Lohmiller gets set to kick off. Stephon Adams is on the left. Stacy Simmons on the right for the Raiders with 10:03 remaining in the first half. We're going to hear from Wayne Sevier on that return. This is a short kick, and it's going to be Adams at the 15-yard line returning for the Raiders, and Adams is stopped at the 29. Wayne Sevier, what about the coverage on that Brian Mitchell 97-yard kickoff return?
Well, we got a good hanging kick, and Brian just took that ball on stride, and we had a great block at the point of attack by Alvin Walton. sealing a man in and on Stephen Hobbs kicking a guy out who fell. Everybody else got it. And of course, Brian, once he gets out in front, you know, it's real tough to catch him. I saw that flag out there, and I was just hoping that wasn't on us.
I'd already felt good, Wayne. I saw the guy step across the line, so I felt good on that.
You knew.
I knew right away.
Well, the special teams playing very well thus far for Wayne Severe's crew, and an injured player on the field is Stephon Adams, who returned that kickoff for the Raiders. And so while they tend to Adams on the field, we'll take a break and come back in a moment. Stephon Adams on the sidelines had to be helped off the field. He played on the league champion Sacramento team in the World League to try to get a job as a return man this year.
Yeah, he's pinned in here, and look at this. He makes a pivot on that leg, and Joe Johnson hits it, and it looks to me like he's got a pretty severe knee sprain. Hopefully, no ligament damage.
Originally a third-round pick in '85 for the Raiders, rejoined them, but now he's injured. It'll be 1st and 10 on the 29-yard line. Eric Dickerson back in at running back. So the bruised ribs apparently feeling all right. Schrader has time, and the pass is too low and incomplete, intended for Ethan Horton, the tight end. And it was Danny Copeland who has an interception thus far today defending. 156 total yards for the Raiders, nothing for the Redskins. Yet the Redskins lead by 2 touchdowns. And, you know, we can joke about how well the defense has played and the pickoffs and the interceptions, but I think that Joe Gibbs has to be concerned that the offense is not getting any time.
Well, if this is regular season, there'd be all smiles over on the Redskins sidelines, but you're absolutely correct. This is a rehearsal of sorts, and they need to get their offense to work.
2nd down and 10, and the pitch goes to Dickerson. Not this time. Slipped a little and picked up maybe a yard, and that's all. And making the play, Charles Mann, and with help from George Hinkle.
Well, you know, the Redskins are very good at adjusting. And I would imagine that our defensive line and the linebackers will slowly adjust to Dickerson and slow him down a little bit. But you don't stop the great runners.
Well, if you do, I think then you leave yourself vulnerable someplace else. And that's what but that's the great thing about the Redskins defense, I think, as well. They have a tendency to shut down some individuals, and plus they can suppress a team pretty well, too.
3rd down and 8. Mervin Fernandez goes wide to the right. Schrader looking left, coming back left, and the pass underneath, incomplete to Eric Dickerson. He would not have had the 1st down anyway. So Schrader goes underneath the coverage. Wilbur Marshall was defending on the play. That'll bring up 4th down, and so Jeff Gossett will come in to kick it away for the Raiders, their first punt of the game.
Well, barring a punt return for a touchdown by Brian Mitchell, maybe the Redskins offense will get a chance.
Wayne, what kind of coverage you have on Brian's return here?
We got a left return coming. We're going to go double both outside guys up. They're staying in tight. And then we're going to try to return to the left side here.
It's a low kick. And Mitchell on a hop to the 40-yard line. Redskins will get good field position as Brian Mitchell is down at the 46-yard line by Nico Noga.
Well, that was a case of getting the ball quicker than you really want to. In most cases, if you get a ball that quick, you figure you're going to break it. In that case, Brian got up so quick, you got tackled.
For a second, I thought he was, because he was really almost to the Raiders, and there weren't that many of them in the area, but he made his cut back inside. I think he looked outside and saw that the man that was blocking on the Raider didn't really have the position for him to try and take it outside, so he turned it inside, and I guess what, he got about a 10, 15-yard return there?
Here's the Hall of Famer, Art Shell, and happy to be working with one. Congratulations on your induction.
Thank you,
Way to go, Rigo.
Thanks, Bobby. All right. They haven't thrown me out yet, guys. Still a member in good standing.
8:46 to go in the half, and the give is to Ernest Biner, and he picks up a couple. Talk about an offense that has been standing around. That's the Redskins, and we have 8.5 minutes to go. 2nd down and 8 coming up on the Redskins 49.
I don't really envy Mark Rippon and the Washington offense right now. Just exactly what you said, Dick. They've been standing around for about the last 45 minutes. Now they got to come out and make some yards, or they got to punt it back, and they haven't been in the game yet.
That was their 4th offensive play of the game. Ernest Biner up the middle, gets a good hole, and gets a first down into Raider territory. Ernest Biner with a 9-yard gain. Tom Benson, veteran linebacker, in there to make the stop.
Looked like a little draw play, really.
Well, I think we need to keep a focus on that left side of the line because McKenzie has gone out to tackle and Ray Brown in to guard. And you got to do something with Lachey out.
First down of the game for the Redskins. Here's another look, and you're so right. A lot of shuffling by Jim Hannafin in the offensive line, earning his pay, I would think, this week in a big way.
Well, this is a little nervous for them. They're not used to this, but the system here has been to use a lot of people, hasn't it, John?
Yes, it has, and I think that they've got to do something. They still don't have Jim Lachey in camp. They've had a few injuries.
First down. Mark Rippon looking right, going left, and the pass is caught by Terry Orr.
Well, Rip's a little rusty, folks, because Gary Clark was wide open in the middle, and Rip does not miss that. He has great vision.
Well, that's Mark Rippon's strength, I think, is his downfield abilities. Although he does throw a line around here to Terry Orr. He's looking around, but as you said, Bobby, he had a lot of time on this. It was a good job of blocking by the offensive line this time. Good job protecting.
Ricky Ellison finally made the tackle after 2 defenders missed. Terry Orr was a halfback, a running back at Texas. Been a tight end here with the Redskins. Under 7 minutes to go in the first half. 2nd down and 3 for the Redskins on the 35-yard line of the Raiders. Ernest Biner going outside will have the first down as he is wrestled down and a penalty marker is thrown. Lionel Washington on the tackle. What about a late hit?
Must be a face mask.
I would bet on face mask, Bob. I think you're right.
Ed Hockley is our referee this afternoon. And that will be costly to the Raiders because they'll mark off a chunk of yardage if there is a late hit or face mask against L.A.
Yeah, I think the preliminary indication was face mask. Biner just slides this ball out. There's nothing there. This is 40 gut, which is basically, or 50 gut, basically an off-tackle play. The Raiders have it blocked up, and then he bounces it outside, and of course you can see what happened. There's a I don't know if they considered that. No, they did not consider that a flagrant foul, so they gave him 5 yards.
Well, he had his hand up there. It's just a matter of pulling it down. It was not a real pull on the face mask.
I'll tell you what, when they get their hands on your face mask, if even it's only for a fraction of a second, you feel like it's a flagrant foul. A very helpless feeling.
First down on the 24-yard line of the Raiders as a result of that 5-yard penalty. And here is Ernest Biner, who's blocking ahead of him, tackled from behind and picks up 4 yards. Ricky Ellison, who played his college ball at Southern California and began his pro career with the San Francisco 49ers. Clock is running. Nearly 6 minutes remaining in a very weird first half. The Redskins lead 21-7, but it's been all defense. 2 interceptions returned on successive plays for a touchdown. And a 97-yard kickoff return by Brian Mitchell. It's accounted for the 3 scores for the Redskins. Offense really feeling their oats for the first time today. 3 wide receivers, 2nd down and 6. Rippon will go to one of the posse, and the pass is tipped away, intended for Clark, and Lionel Washington got a hand on it.
As I was saying at the top of the show, I think that Mark Rippon needs to complete some passes this afternoon, and he'll still get another week of work. But he's got to be sharp, I think, for them to start out against the Cowboys at September 7th. He's looking out here outside, but unfortunately there's a defender between him and Gary Clark. They just knocked the ball down on him.
Keep in mind the Raiders are missing Greg Townsend, one of 3 starters on defense who are holdouts. Townsend has had a history of good play against the Redskins. So holdouts loom large for both clubs. 3rd down and 6. The ball at the 20. Here's Clark in his matchup on the left side. Rippon going for pay dirt, and the pass is incomplete. Even had it been caught, it would have been out of the end zone, and it might have been anyway. Lionel Washington defending on Gary Clark. You saw the matchup at the line, man-to-man, before that play started.
Gary made a great one-hand catch, but he was just out of the end zone. Tremendous catch.
Good job here by the offensive line, I think. I think that Raleigh McKenzie does a nice job. He's isolated out there by himself at defensive tackle. And this is his first job at that game, but Yeah, it was a nice catch by Gary, but the ball was just too far out of the end zone.
Chip Lohmiller will attempt the field goal now. Matt Elliott, the rookie from Michigan, is snapping on place kicks. This is a 38-yard attempt, and the kick is no good. It is off to the right. Kelly Goodburn was holding. Lohmiller missed the kick. And the chipper so far on the season is 2 out of 4.
I don't think Chip's been kicking real good today. Now, this is definitely a ball that's within his range. I mean, this is a field goal he pretty much can almost automatically, as a rule, put up 3 points on. But his kickoffs have been real short all day today. He has not driven one into the end zone yet.
John Brandis had been the kicker, and I want to point out, Bobby, that the snapper, I should say, and Matt Elliott being used for place kicks today, and Dave Clark, who is a free agent from UNLV, for punts. So they're going to take a look at some snappers, Bobby.
Well, Rutledge was holding for that, and they should have gotten that. He got it down real good. The ball was a little high.
So the Raiders take over 1st and 10 on the 20-yard line with 5:27 to go in the first half. Schrader looking to Willie Gault. Gault has the first down and pushed out of bounds at the Raider 41 by A.J. Johnson, and a gain of 19 on that first down play.
Well, it looked like the Redskin defense is really playing back. They're giving the Raider receivers a big cushion here. You can see to Johnson, he runs him off a little bit, then he just stops and plants and comes around and waits for the ball. Good offensive route.
First down for the Raiders on their 40-yard line. The Redskins lead 21-7. Both teams looking for their first win of preseason. Here's Eric Dickerson changing direction, and Dickerson will be stopped back to the line of scrimmage. Wilbur Marshall in on the play.
Well, as John said earlier, if you started stopping that run, you might leave some holes somewhere. So I think that Jay will probably go under with his passes now, with everybody backing up.
Yeah, I think the Redskins are sensitive to the deep pass right now. That's the way apparently Johnson played that pass that he gave up to Gault. He was really playing for the home run, and of course they got the single or double.
New fashion shirt being worn by Joe Gibbs today. Could use it as a test pattern, I think, before our broadcast. 2nd down and 10. Here is Eric Dickerson again. Fights his way out to the 44-yard line. Gain of 4. He has gained 85 yards on 19 carries. Pretty big workload in the first half for Dickerson. Kurt Gouveia making the tackle. It'll be 3rd down and about 5.
You'd almost have to think that Eric Dickerson went to Art Shell and asked him to get as much work as he could, because I think this is a little it's not really normal that a guy that's played as long as he has give him 18 carries in the first half of the preseason game.
We might see Marcus Allen before this game is over. Allen has yet to see any action in preseason. 3rd down and 6 on the 44 of the Raiders. Schrader looking to throw, and his pass is incomplete. It was intended for Ethan Horton, the tight end downfield. Wasn't on the mark at all, and closest to the play were Danny Copeland and Monty Coleman. That'll bring up 4th down, and the Raiders will kick.
Well, I think right there you saw a good pass rush by the Redskins. Schrader was feeling the pressure, I think, and the pocket was really starting to collapse around him. And he has to really unload this ball right there. And he doesn't have anybody to throw to as well. He did the only thing he could, and I think he is fairly sensitive to the fact he's thrown 3 interceptions today.
It's 4th down, and Jeff Gossett will kick. Ryan Mitchell and Joe Johnson goes back. First punt was 36 yards for Gossett. Here is Johnson on the 11-yard line. And the Raiders covering well. Bring him down just short of the 20-yard line. That was a 44-yard kick, and Joe Johnson returned it 9 yards.
Well, I think if you're the special team coach for the Raiders, that was exactly the way you drew it up on the board. Perfect punt, perfect coverage.
3 minutes and 22 seconds remaining in this first half. The Redskin offense has really had only one drive to speak of, and so I guess the feeling is, guys, that we'll see the Redskin first-team offense a little more in the second half than originally planned.
I would have to think so, and I think right now you'll probably see them really put together a regular drive. They're controlling the game, at least on the scoreboard.
Rippin on a play fake, going deep. And the pass is incomplete, and a penalty marker down. Gary Clark was interfered with by Eddie Anderson, and that will be a big first down for the Redskins.
Well, Rip had an open down underneath. He had two guys free underneath, and he elected to go deep to Clark. So he wanted to shake out this rustiness.
Yeah, I think that's what Mark wants to see. He wants to connect some of those deep routes. Gary's just barely got his man beat here, and I don't know if he's going to catch this ball if he's not interfered with or not. It's really close there. It looked like it might have been a little overthrown, but the interference could have kept Gary from reaching that, getting that ball.
Knowing Gary, he would have caught this one. If you watch, that ball would have gone. It went pretty well off the tip of his fingers, even with him being held. He would have gotten that.
Yep, you're right, Don.
That's a 48-yard penalty against the Raiders and a first down for the Redskins on the Raiders 34. Ernest Biner head down. Picks up about 3 yards. Tom Benson.
Now, for some reason, the Redskins have yet to run the counter tray, and as a rule, that is a play that they showcase almost immediately when they take the field. And they really, I think what they're doing is probably setting that play up with the gut, because it was an offspring of the gut play. We keep pounding, they used to pound the outside off tackle, and then they come back with a misdirection.
Biner has gained 22 yards on 6 carries. Pretty good work considering how little the Redskins offense have. Second down and 8 on the 32-yard line of the Raiders. Here's Biner, and he goes nowhere. Howie Long, welcome, and a big loss on the play. Let's see where the forward progress was.
And that's the reason they haven't been running the counter. There's the counter tray for you guys, and I think the Raiders have been waiting. What happens is Joe Jacoby, Howie Long, I think may be able to play this better than anybody if what we just have seen right here is any indication. He is literally in Joe Jacoby's hip pocket.
And a loss of 5 yards. So the 2-minute warning here at the Coliseum, and we'll return. It's 21-7. The Redskins lead the Raiders with 2 minutes remaining in the first half here at the LA Coliseum. An afternoon game, and both teams getting a chance to play in the heat, and the Redskins with a chance to see what it's like to play in warm weather. They didn't have that kind of warm weather at training camp as much this year, did they?
No, I don't believe they have. And the other thing about it, Dick, is we're playing an afternoon game. So, of course, they're not going to open the season that way. They're playing a night game down in Dallas.
2 minutes to go. It'll be third down and long for Mark Rippon. And Art Monk, the intended receiver downfield, double covered. And that'll bring up fourth down. Terry McDaniel was downfield along with Derek Hoskins.
There wasn't really much there for Mark to throw the ball to.
Rippon 1 for 5 for 7 yards, and not really much of a chance to gain any rhythm as Chip Lohmiller will come in to attempt the field goal. He missed earlier from 48 yards. Jeff Rutledge, the holder again. Rutledge held the first time as well. This will be a 54-yard attempt by Lohmiller. And the kick is long enough, and the kick is no good. It hit the upright and bounced back onto the field. A powerful kick by Chip Lohmiller that hit the upright and bounced back.
Well, that was a pretty good college try there.
Why not? This, you know, and John, and this being the preseason, I think that Wayne Sevier, that's great. Let him do it. Let him get the feel for it.
I'll tell you what. Can you imagine? He could have kicked that another 10 yards out, I think.
Yeah, that ball would have. That's a 60
midway up on the goal post there. Yeah, that's an easy 60-yard field goal he's got there. It was a line drive. He really gets his foot into it.
Powerful kick by Lohmiller, though it missed. 0 for 2 on the day, but that's a good sign.
He looked good missing.
Yes, he did. If you can look good missing,
you can occasionally.
So with 1:48 remaining in the first half, the Raiders take over on their own 37-yard line. Raider all the way at quarterback in the first half. Dickerson going cross field is knocked out of bounds, and a flag is thrown as Dickerson is out of bounds at the 39 by Martin Mayhew, and a late flag throwing from deep in the secondary. Wilbur Marshall signaling that there was a penalty against the Raiders.
Maybe a clip or a hold, I would think.
See if that pans out. Ed Hockley, the referee, and it is holding against L.A.
When a running back cut back at you like that, it is so hard not to hold somebody. It's very difficult. So many linemen get caught on that.
Holding on the defense, number 72. On the offense, number 72. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Martin Mayhew's had a pretty good first half. 2 interceptions for touchdowns on successive plays and a couple of hard hits on running plays, such as that last one.
Yeah, here we go. I guess, yeah, you can see it. They push. I guess it's Wilbur. Is it Wilbur Marshall? No, it's Monty Coleman, I think.
First down and 20 now for the Raiders. Backed up to their own 27-yard line on the draw. Here's Dickerson again going right. And he is upended by Martin Mayhew once again. So another good defensive play in the open field by Mayhew.
Well, you know, when Darrell Green comes back, Martin Mayhew is put into a clamp, so he's really playing tough. He wants to stay on the field.
Quick huddle. And here's a pass to Willie Gault into Redskin territory with 1:10 remaining in the first half, and the hurry-up offense for the Raiders. They've got a first down. They have all 3 of their timeouts remaining.
I think the Redskins defense just relaxed a little bit there. They're used to, they just keep running the ball, and all of a sudden they run a pass route, and the people are wide open.
Raider again with some time, and this pass off the mark. Ethan Horton had to reach out for it. It is incomplete. Wilbur Marshall was defending against that huge tight end. And Tim Brown is pleading that he was interfered with as he goes back to the line of scrimmage. Stops the clock with 45 seconds remaining in the half. 2nd and 10 coming up for the Raiders on the Redskin 48. Joe Gibbs and company looking for preseason win number 1 with just 1 game remaining before that opener September 7th against the Cowboys. Raider rolling out. And his pass, Willie Gault. Does Gault have it? Incomplete. Willie Gault wrestling with A.J. Johnson and losing that battle. So the clock stops with 38 seconds to go, but it is third down.
Flag down.
See what the penalty is. It is against the Raiders.
Number 88, the penalty is declined, brings up third down.
Ethan Horton, the tight end, was holding. I don't know how you guys feel about instant replay, but I kind of think that it's, even though there are going to be some people that are going to see that the referee's made a mistake, I love the flow of the game without looking upstairs all the time.
Yeah, it's been my feeling all along, Dick. I mean, you're playing the game down there. People have got to judge it as well, and I don't think that they need to have to be looking over their shoulder all the time if they're going to make a call, and then if it's a little controversial, it might be overruled.
Third down and 10. Penalty was declined by the Redskins, bringing up third down. And here's Raider with his pass off the fingertips of Horton. And he was covered that time by Andre Collins, who played an outstanding game against the 49ers in London. And that'll bring up fourth down for the Raiders.
Besides, it always takes away that great excuse, we were robbed, you know? You go home
and can't use that anymore. Right?
That's right. You can't use it.
Well, I think that Pettibone has got to feel pretty good about his defense because, you know, all the preseason, defense has been really tough. No one has hurt our defense. And here's another case of the coverage being so well that Jay had to go underneath and Horton couldn't come up with it.
Jeff Gossett will kick, and Joe Johnson is back deep for the Redskins. Headed for out-of-bounds territory, and it does go out of bounds. Penalty marker is down at midfield with 24 seconds to go in the half, and this last minute has moved along slowly because of penalties and such. Illegal procedure against the kicking team, the Raiders.
Redskins are going to refuse it.
Art Shell.
Illegal formation on the kicking team. An ineligible number was on the end of the line of scrimmage. The penalty is refused. First down.
Jay Schrader, who has thrown 3 interceptions, 2 of them resulting in Redskin touchdowns. We expect to see Todd Marinovich play in the second half at some point. Marinovich, a very talented quarterback, who, as you mentioned, Bobby, had one spectacular game and one game that you wonder if he had ever played major college football. So you don't know what to expect.
Yeah, he still is a true rookie. They would like to bring him on better than that.
Ball is on the Redskins' 16-yard line. Ernest Biner into the line, and Redskins will be in no hurry to run off another play before this first half is history. Well, it was a half in which the Redskins secondary, Mayhew in particular, with some timely interceptions, Brian Mitchell with a big kickoff return. The offense needed a little more work for their taste. But at the end of the first half here at the Coliseum, the score, the Redskins 21, the Raiders 7. Right now, let's go down to the field and buck.
All right, Dick, and you know, the amazing thing is that Jay Schrader didn't throw the ball that poorly in the first half. He just made some serious mistakes on those 2 out patterns. At one point in the first quarter, Jay Schrader had thrown 8 passes. 5 of them complete to the Raiders. 3 of them were complete to the Redskins. 2 of them, Martin Mayhew touchdowns. And, of course, the Brian Mitchell return, which was 97 yards, hence your halftime score of 21-7. We'll continue with our halftime festivities here from the L.A. Coliseum with the Redskins on top of the Raiders 21-7 in just a moment.